Merry Christmas, and I hope you're having the most amazing time away from the office, wherever you might be. And in this time in between Christmas and New Year, while I've got you for 20 minutes, in this week's episode, I'm talking about the 7 things that I've been doing in December to plan for 2025 and also get my team aligned on the journey and where we're going. So grab a glass of wine and a leftover picking blanket and join me for 7 hacks, which might just help you get 2025 into gear. Number 1, I have spent time thinking about what my happy week looks like. So my happy week for 2025, and being completely honest, it's not something I'm going to achieve straight away in January. There's going to be a bit of, twisting and turning as me and my PA Bex kind of morph meetings, commitments, things we've already said we'll do, new requests that come in into this new structure of the happy week. But I guess we all know that phrase, a dream job. And I just think about, okay, well, what about a dream week? Because for me, a happy week is one where I have lots of spare time, free time, non-committed time to work on the things that I really love, all the big projects that are going to move us forwards. And so just being completely transparent, my happy week looks like Mondays in the office with the team meetings, tracking the alerts, tracking our data, understanding what needs tweaking, where we might be off course, coaching the team, just generally in the office, understanding that we're on track and we're on plan and fixing or solving or coaching anything I can. And then Tuesdays and Thursdays for me are where we will fit in meetings, calls, any webinars I deliver, any calls with clients or suppliers or new opportunities. In an ideal week, those will be put into on a Tuesday and a Thursday. I should say as well that would be after 11 in the morning. I still like to keep the morning free to work on the good stuff and the chunky stuff. But then those kind of late morning, afternoons, Tuesdays and Thursdays will be my day for all meetings and things that need to get scheduled in. And then I'm keeping Wednesday and Friday free. And I don't know if you've ever spent time to think about what a happy week looks like, but when you do and it happens, oh my gosh, the difference between ending a Friday and you've been at the beck and call of everyone, there's been so much stuff squeezed in, you're exhausted in the evening, you don't go into meetings with energy, she's like, oh my God, this is one after another. And then when you have a week where, for me, if I get to a Wednesday and a Friday, I'm like, oh wow, there's nothing planned in today at all. I am going to work on X or create this content or write an article or, move a project forward in the business. It is the best feeling. And for me, creatively, it's really energizing to have the free space without thinking, oh, at 12 o'clock, I need to make this meeting, or gosh, I need to stop what I'm doing in half an hour because I need to jump on that call. I hate that interruption of free time. And so I really work best when I have 2 key days a week to flow and do good stuff in. And that, you might not care about that whatsoever. You might like having, calls in, maybe just half days free or whatever it looks like for you. But I think if you understand what a happy week looks like for you, it makes the journey so much more enjoyable. Because when it happens, because obviously all of our tasks every single day are not happy tasks, but it makes, when I know that I've got a really busy Thursday, there's loads of stuff planned in, I'm like going from one thing to another, getting things done, but then I know my Friday is like, oh, decompress, get a coffee. What amazing thing am I working on today? That for me is, I absolutely love it. So the structure that I've picked lets me focus on what I love, big picture thinking, without getting bogged down in back-to-back calls. It also then lets me get super productive on 2 or 3 days a week where I'm much more tight on my time and much more discerning on where and how I spend my time. And so I just want to encourage you to think about, what does your happy week look like in November this time next year, in December this time next year? What would you have to change and move to get to that? It was a question that Nigel Bottrell posed to me a couple of weeks ago when I was talking about what I was planning for the year. And his question was like, Emma, what do you think a happy week would look like? And I think it is just the best question. Number 2 is all about understanding the hats that you actually wear in your business. And I got a real shock this year when I was working with a coach, Will Paulston. He pulled out a organization chart. And if somebody said to me, like, where are you in the business? I would say, okay, well, yeah, I'm in the finance department, I'm in sales sales, I'm in marketing. Sometimes I get involved in the PA department because that was my background and I was a PA previously. So there were problems and product developments that I solve. But actually, the organization chart that Will pulled out had every real department that's in the business. So one of them was like legal and property. And yeah, when we move office, anything to do with the landlord, that's me. There was like product innovation. Yeah, that's me pretty much. That's coming up with new ideas, things I want to implement, brand management, social media, email marketing, marketing strategy. And as he broke down all of these places, I occupied so many of these seats. It was ridiculous. And I looked at this organization chart, I think it was back in July time, as we were going through each seat, and he was like, well, who does this in the business? Who does that? And then when he'd finished filling it in, I was like, oh my God, no wonder I feel overwhelmed, because I'm in so many bloody areas of the business wearing all these different hats. And whilst I am and I'm sure lots of you are the same in that, you can get lots of stuff done. You think that something that takes a week can take you 5 minutes. And I really probably am guilty of underestimating how long things take. So because I've been in business now, I guess quite a long time, 16 years, I've learned a lot of stuff and I've learned how to solve new problems. And so I just keep them. But then as I was talking to Will about my struggles with getting myself out of the weeds in some areas of the business, this organization chart just made all the sense in the world. So it's kind of like, good, well, I understand where I sit, but I knew and I know that a really big part of 2025 is freeing myself up. So what I've done is we have created an organization chart with lots of blank seats. So my lovely friend Joy, who's coming on the podcast in a couple of weeks, she's the queen of brand management, creates anything for us at my PA like that. She has ultimately created an organization chart of what 2025 should and will look like by the end of the year. And in it, there are lots of roles that are currently empty. And even if you look at, like, if you go into chat GPT, is for some to say, and ask what all the common roles and departments of a business are, or Google it, you will get a representation of all the most common parts. And I do think for a lot of small business owners, okay, you might have the people delivering the service, you might have someone doing your bookkeeping, you might have a PA or a virtual PA who's kind of doing a bit of everything, but actually a lot of us are really covering a lot of departments. So I understand the seats that I occupy, and my goal for 2025 is to offload them one by one, but it is up on the wall for my team to see the new roles and skills that we will need in the business. And that might be helpful for you too. Okay, so I've talked about numbers, but what we're also doing at my PA is defining what success looks like for the team. So for us, it's not just numbers, it's the vibe, it's the morale, and it's the feedback from our customers. So we have got, on top of profitability, 2 other key things that we are tracking and using as a metric of success. So number 1 is Friday Pulse. Last week, I was very lucky to have Nick Marks on the show. Nick Marks is the founder of Friday Pulse, and we use it in our business to track employee happiness. And so the score of Friday Pulse and how that tracks from week to week is one of our key metrics. That happy team is the key to everything else. So Friday Pulse is a key metric in our business for 2025. And the NPS score, if you don't know what the NPS is, it's a metric called the Net Promoter Score. The actual calculation of it is quite complicated. There's a very big yellow book on it. But ultimately, it's that survey that asks you how you would score something from 1 to 10, 10 being great, 0 being terrible. And ultimately, there is a calculation behind it that anyone that's a 9 and a 10 are raving fans. I think 7 and 8 are like, they're just like, yeah, it's great. And anyone below a 7 is considered a detractor, someone that is not going to refer you or talk about you if somebody asks for a recommendation for a virtual PA company. So you really want to work on the 6s and below. So NPS is something that we send out every quarter currently, and that score across our different departments. So NPS, Friday Pulse, and profitability. Again, we're going to have public on a screen, but they are really key metrics that we know if they are high, then we're on the right course. I know that all of our scorecards and our dashboards and our metrics for our business can be like big and complicated, and there's so many things in there, but actually there are a few key numbers that really, really tip the balance. And for us, the profitability and Friday Pulse and NPS are it. So yeah, I just encourage you to think about defining 2025. Obviously, the financials are a key one for all of us, but are there any other metrics, whether it's customer happiness or, number of Google reviews you've got? Is there something else you can track to understand that things are going in the right way? And as I started drinking more wine in the evenings, because we were all trying to figure out what was going on, on and we couldn't get to gyms. And from COVID onwards to 2022, at the end of 2022, I definitely felt the effects of not prioritizing my well-being from a business perspective in terms of stress levels, patience levels, energy levels. But as I really prioritized my fitness and well-being in 2023 and 2024, things completely started to change at my PA, and I enjoyed it so much more. So one of the things I'm doing in my happy week, which I talked about in point number 1, is that I am making sure that my fitness schedule, which is, that's important to me and what we all want to do and how we want to spend our time exercising or working out or just getting our steps in, is different for all of us. So I'm not kind of advocating what I do, but what I do is make sure that it is planned in the diary. So my Wednesdays and Fridays that are less heavy on meetings and calls, they are a big day for me to have a gym day booked in on both of them, because I'm not kind of like rushing from one thing to another to get it finished. It works for me. But ultimately what I learned in 2023 was planning it in first in advance, making that the priority, and then fitting in my plans around it, made sure it happened, and I had the best outcomes. How I felt about myself physically, mentally, it had really, really far-reaching effects. So I just want you to think about, while you're planning maybe January, the next quarter, the calendar, what's your fitness routine going to look like? Are you going to start walking your 10,000 steps every day? Are you going to pre-book classes in? Are you going to book time in at lunch or early morning, or go, is it convenient for you to work out? That was a big thing for me. We luckily have a very basic gym at our office in Manchester that the building have provided. And so having that enabled me to really simply fit in workouts. And just thinking about that, like if you think about that, number 1, how can I get into my routine, into my best shape? I'll feel good and I can do the rest of the year. I would really spend time in between Christmas and New Year to think about that. Is it actually getting some accountability and a fitness coach maybe? Is it going with a friend to a class that you like? Or is it just walking every single day, listening to a podcast and making sure you're moving and not just sat sedentary and not even thinking about fitness until it's too late? So encouraging and prioritizing that one area of your well-being for next year, your fitness. For me, also my sleep. So I got a Whoop about a year ago. I wrote about it in my newsletter the other week, Win the Week, which you can subscribe to if the link's in the bio. The Whoop really helped me to focus in on the quality of my sleep, how much sleep I was getting, how much deep sleep I was getting, and what that looked like. So prioritizing sleep, oh my God. And I know it's not possible for everyone. People that have children, that have other priorities, maybe work different times, but when you can and where you can, prioritizing it has been number 1 for me. Also mindfulness, just having time daily. I have a little reminder on my iPhone to journal daily. It's not for everyone, I get that, but honestly, having a record of all the good things that have happened and the learnings from it. We easily forget stuff. We're going through life so quickly and we easily forget all of the lessons that we learn, all of the things that we've overcome and we've done really well and we surprise ourselves with. And just having that record for me, and even just the process of writing it out, I get a lot from it. And so my fitness, my sleep, my journaling, mindfulness, those 3 really, really make the rest of the days, the weeks, the months so much better. And these 7 things are key for us. And I just hope and thought that they might be key for you as well. So there you have it. This is how I'm using the in-between time to set up for a fantastic 2025. I'm planning and thinking about all of the 7 things that I've just been through. And I hope these ideas have given you something to think about for your own life or your own business, because it's all about being intentional, designing your happier week, aligning your team, setting clear targets, making time for reflection and well-being. The more intentional you are about the week, the less you let the week happen to you, the better life is, the happier I am personally. And I think the more you are on your own journey and your own path. So I would love to know what's one thing you're doing to set yourself up for success next year. Let me know. I would love to hear from you, whether it's on email, in the DMs, on the comments. We always get back to everybody. I hope this is helpful. I'm not going to waffle on for too much longer now because it's Christmas and I hope you have the best time. Enjoy it, recharge, reflect, and go into 2025 with the optimism that it's going to be the best one yet for you. Thank you so much for listening today. Remember to subscribe because it really helps the podcast. And big love for listening this year. Thank you so much.